So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself, I have never asked the people for $1 in my life.
We're going to get into this. At this point, I feel like if you give him money, you're just asking to never see that money again or never see any results from whatever he's saying he's going to do. Whether you believe he's a scammer or not, I believe that there's part of it where he just doesn't know how to handle money. He doesn't know what he's doing, and there's ego. But we're going to get into it, and I'm going to break it down and give you my full reaction. My name is Fitz. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the channel, and also if you are a content creator that wants to build an online brand without burning out, make sure you check out the Content Confidence Workbook. Information is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, let's get into this because a lot of people have been sending me this video and they wanted me to react to it, and he gives a further breakdown of what's going on. Now, I want you to pay attention in this video because there's going to be a lot of excuses made. There's going to be a lot of excuses made. There's going to be a lack of accountability, and we're going to talk about it. All right, we're going to talk about it.
Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. This is your big brother, Dr. Umar Ifa Tunde Oguntade.
So there he is right there, positioning himself as our big brother, as an authority figure, somebody that you can trust, family.
Intercontinental Ifa Tunde RB Jesus, coming to you live and direct from Philadelphia. I have a very important message.
I don't know what any of that just meant. RBGs, I don't know what none of that meant.
I'm only going to keep you about 5 minutes. I have a very important message. I'm only going to keep you about 5 minutes. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my continental Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Australian Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Caribbean Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Africans in Europe and Asia.
I want to point this out because this is interesting to me. Was he driving and then pulled over on the side of the road with this idea? Because one thing I don't understand is, why do you have your seatbelt on? Right? Like me personally, if I'm just sitting in my car chilling, I don't have my seatbelt on unless I just got done driving and I'm pulling up and then maybe I turn the phone on. But pay attention to that. He either just got done driving or is about to drive. If he's about to drive and he just stopped, why? Go where you going. All right, that's a little side note.
Asia, peace and Pan-Africanism to my Brazil and my South American Africans, peace and Pan-Africanism to Panama and Costa Rica, my Central American Africans, peace and Pan-Africanism to my Canadian Africans, peace and Pan-Africanism to my New York, my Carolina, my Texas, my Phoenix, my Philly, my Jersey, my Maryland, my Baltimore, my Georgia, my Florida, my Arkansas, Alabama, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City,
Damn it. Come on, bruh. Is this a geography class or you finna tell us what's going on?
Africans, it's your big brother King Kong. I need y'all to listen up. I got a very important announcement.
Okay.
I need y'all to listen up. I got a very important announcement. I'm only going to keep you a few minutes. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars. I logged into my account just to check my balance because I haven't done so since I left for South Africa back on July 10th. Only to discover that I could not log into my account.
So here's the first red flag for me. And I'm going to preface this by saying that I actually agree with a lot of what Dr. Umar says from an ideological perspective when he talks about Pan-Africanism in college. I actually created a course during the summertime around Pan-Africanism. So I want to separate Pan-Africanism and that line of thought from Dr. Umar. But listen to what he just said right there. He said he went to South Africa. He went to South Africa. Let's play that again.
This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars.
Friend need money.
I logged into my account just to check my balance because I haven't done so since I left for South Africa
So he hasn't checked his balance on his account since he left for South Africa. Now, but he's going to check his balance when someone asks to borrow money. How much money was he being asked to borrow for him to need to check his account for the friend, but you didn't check your account when you were in South Africa? Make it make sense. You went to another country, and not one time when you were in a foreign country did you check your bank account. Not when you was getting a hotel, a rental car, paying for some punani maybe on the side. I don't know. From what people coming out saying, he a deviant when it comes to that, but allegedly. But you were in a foreign country and didn't check your bank account one time, because he said, I haven't checked my bank account since I left for South Africa. But your homie texts you and says they need money, and you check your account for that. That don't make sense to me. Because in my mind, I would spend more money in South Africa and need to watch what I'm spending versus giving somebody $20, $30, $100, whatever. Like, how much money is this person asking for?
Back on July 10th, only to discover that I could not log into my account. So then I called the bank to find out what was going on. And the bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. The bank that I've been with since I was a teenager told me they had no record of my account. So then I called the bank. And the bank told me that my personal account, as well as the independent Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account, have both been frozen. Both bank accounts have been frozen.
So you're chilling. You haven't checked your bank account since July 10th, even though you checked it before you went to a foreign country. You didn't check it anytime during your visit in a foreign country where you're spending dollars, where you may need to convert money and currency and blah, blah, blah. You didn't check it anytime when you was gone. Not at the airport when they charge you $10 for a water. Didn't check it. Not when you was out at the South African restaurants and they charge you X amount and you got to try to understand what that equal in US dollars. You didn't check it any of those times. But you checked it when you got home and the homie asked you for some money. Okay. You check it and they say there's been fraudulent activity and your bank account has been frozen. What I want to know is, when was the last time you spent money? Because if your bank account was frozen, wouldn't you have known that when you went to pay for something prior to you calling and it wasn't able to? Like, did the account just get frozen? When did the account get frozen versus when did you find out? That's what I want to know. Because if you telling me you can go that long without spending money, I'm not going to believe it.
Frozen. And I was told that there is an investigation into my personal account as well as the school account. I asked them, was this due to suspicion of any fraud on my part? I was told that it was not due to suspicion of any fraud on my part, but I was told that it was due to suspicion of fraudulent activity. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access to my personal account and the FDMG account. I was told that someone has been trying.
Now, here's what's interesting, because this has actually happened to me before. Maybe not on as large scale as he's talking about, but there's been people that have tried to use my credit card, or they've made a transaction with a credit card or something like that I didn't authorize. And my bank has called me right away. They've called me and they didn't freeze the account. They didn't shut it down. They sent me a new card. Now, with him having a business account, I guess, or whatever, or an independent account for FDMG and his own personal account, it just makes me wonder if the FDMG account is independent of the personal account, why did they both get shut down? How did someone have access not only to your personal account, but to the business account? How did they find out the username? How did they find out the password? Where are you storing this information? How would somebody get access or try to get access to both of them? And also, Also, it's really interesting that he doesn't speak about, at least up to this point, any charges that were made. Any charges that were made, like how much money did they spend? How much money did they get? What does that even mean, fraudulent activity? Because either somebody got into your account and committed fraud or they didn't. What are we talking about? Somebody went online and tried to type in your username too many times and they weren't able to get access to it. Did they have a card with your name on it and they were swiping it and it didn't go through? Because that wouldn't make sense, because if there's money in your account, then it would have went through and you would have had to catch it on your own. You would have had to catch it on your own. Maybe you were in South Africa trying to spend money and you didn't notify the bank. Maybe you were in South Africa trying to spend money and you didn't notify the bank and they thought that fraud was occurring. That's a possibility. But I don't hear that vibe from him. See, that would be a logical explanation, because I've been out of state and they've called and they said, "Hey, we've stopped your credit card because someone just put gas in your car in Colorado, blah, blah, blah. Is this you?" "Yes, it's me." "Okay, fine. Everything's good." So that would have been a more reasonable explanation. I was in South Africa and my account got froze because they thought fraudulent activity because I'm spending money in other places. But he goes places all the time. His bank should know that. So my question is where are the charges? Where's the money that's come out the account that someone tried to spend? Because anyone could try to go log into someone's account. So that's not making sense to me.
Trying to gain access to my personal account in an FDMG account.
See, and someone trying to gain access to your account, meaning they tried to put your username in too many times. I don't see them freezing your account. Why not just say, "Hey, change your username and password. We verified that this is you." Because here's the thing, and you have to read between the lines. They verified that it was him, because he said he called the bank, gave them the 16, or he called whatever, gave them the 16-digit number. They didn't. They said they don't have any history of his account. Then he called the bank and they verified that it was him, and they told him about the fraud. In order for them to tell him about the fraud, they had to verify that it was him. So once they verified that it was him, why at that point couldn't they just say, "Hey, someone's been trying to access your account. Change the username and password because someone's been trying to access your account." Once you change the username, if they continue to try to use your old username, it's not going to matter because it's not attached to your account anymore, right? That would make sense if this is just someone trying to log in and gain access to it. What are we talking about here?
Was told that someone has been trying to gain access into my personal account and the FDMG account. Brothers and sisters, if you have sent a
So they know the username to the FDMG account. They know the username to the personal account. So that means it must be someone close to you that was on your personal computer or something. But if they were on your personal computer and they were trying to gain access to it, they didn't have your password and stuff, that means that this is somebody that you know. So you either know these people, it's you, or it wasn't anybody trying to gain access and they're investigating for a different reason.
Donation to FDMG. Let's give it until the end of the month to see if this gets cleared up. They have given me no definitive timeline as to when their investigation will conclude. They have given me no definitive timeline as to when their investigation will conclude. If you have sent a check or money order donation to FDMG, let's wait until August the 1st, Black August, and see if this situation has gotten cleared up. They told me they sent me a letter to this point on July the 10th, the day that I left for South Africa. I was told that the timeline of suspicious activity was June 25th to July the 10th. I was told that the timeline for suspicious activity was between June 25th, that's when Medea went public. Everybody knows who Medea is. July 25th, that's when Medea went public. July the 10th, that's when I left for South Africa. July the 10th, that's when I left for South Africa.
So here's where I'm not buying this right now. Listen to what he just said. There was suspicious activity between June 25th and July 10th, right? July 10th. So he leaves to South Africa. They send him a letter, I'm assuming saying your account has been frozen because there's been suspicious activity. So if you leave on July 10th and go to a foreign country, are you telling me that you didn't spend any money when you were there? Because if they sent you a letter, are they sending a letter saying we're going to freeze your account? Or did they send a letter saying your account has been frozen, you're under investigation, or it's under investigation? Like, what did that letter say? If they sent you the letter on July 10th and your account was frozen, how did you go to a foreign country without spending any money? And if you say, well, maybe he had another account where he spent money. Well, where is that money now? Why is he asking people for money if he has this other account that didn't get frozen? So it's not making sense. You leave to a foreign country. If you tried to spend money, then it would have shown that your account was frozen, or you would have been notified then. The transactions wouldn't have went through. So how did you make it in a foreign country in South Africa all that time without spending money?
So y'all know my I believe Medea and Pastor Bussy were fraudulently trying to get into my account. And if we find out that's the case, they will be sued and possibly arrested, because fraudulent activity on a bank account is a federal offense. Fraudulent activity on a bank account is federal offense.
All right, y'all. I think I've heard enough of what he's saying. I think we kind of got the gist. I have my suspicions. Things just aren't adding up. He's blaming someone named Medea. For those of you who don't know who Medea is, I guess it's this caretaker or whatever that was taking care of his mom that he, was engaged sexually with on some level. I'm not sure. It's a lot of drama. But here's what I want to point out to you, right? Like I said in the video, I don't know how you go to a foreign country without spending money that whole time if your accounts were frozen the day you left. On top of that, if you have a bank account and you do online banking, how would someone even know what to type in for your username to even, like, let's say, because I didn't hear any charges that were made to the account. That hasn't come up yet. There were no charges. He didn't say $1,000. So at this point, I'm assuming someone was just trying to access the account. My question then becomes, if I'm Fitz and I'm trying to get into a bank account of somebody that I know or whatever, just someone's bank account, I have to type in their username, right? How do I know their username? Forget the password. How do I know their username? Is it the email address that you publicly give people? What is it? Like, how do I know their username? So someone had to gain access and get your username at minimum for the account to be tied to you, and then try to guess your password. So how did they get their username? So it sounds like this is somebody that you either knew or it's you. But something's not adding up here. And earlier in the video, I said I want to distinguish between Pan-Africanism and what Dr. Umar is doing in his situation. Pan-Africanism is not Dr. Umar. Pan-Africanism is a line of thought and a school of thought that says that black people should do for black people, and that black people do not need to depend on other people. And it has a long, rich history of useful thought frameworks and solutions that the black community can use and implement to improve ourselves. That's separate than Dr. Umar. Do not attach that to Dr. Umar Johnson. Right here, what's going on, what I think, and I'm just going to give my conspiracy theory, and I'm going to be real. I rock with Dr. Umar in terms of what he says when it comes to the black community. I never donated to the school. I know he says if you don't donate, you shouldn't have a say-so. Well, I have a say-so. All right. To me, it looks like at best, you don't know how to manage money and you're an irresponsible fiduciary of the people's money, and you don't know what you're doing when it comes to school, and you have too big of an ego to get help not only with managing the money, but operating on a timely schedule to get things open. That's the best. The worst case scenario is that you have no intention of getting the schools opened. You bought those buildings as a front so that you can keep the money coming in, and give people just enough to keep them donating. And the feds are coming for you now. The feds are coming for you now. They are investigating what's going on, because it doesn't sound like you would need an investigation for someone trying to access your account like that. Does that need an investigation? I don't know. It seems like it'd be just a quick, hey, we verified it's you. You've been a long time customer of ours. You've never committed fraud or anything. Change your name. Change your username. Change your password. Let's open you up a separate account. Change your information or whatever. And let's go about your business. Especially if you put in hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars in donations into our bank that we're lending out to other people. We want to work with you. We want to work with you. So there's definitely something fishy going on. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Also tap into my content confidence workbook. It is less than $50 right now. That price may go up. We are going to be adding a bundle to it, so it will be bundled in the future. Tap in. Information is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. My name is Fitz. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let me know what y'all think.